Hi, my name is Lara Waldman and I am the Abundance Activator. And today I'd like to speak to you about reparenting yourself, the Divine Mother and Divine Father energies. Now, I have another video where I speak about healing your inner child. And this is another tool or technique, a process to help you with your inner child healing. And I found this really powerful and really helpful on my personal journey. And I'd like to share this with you now. It's very powerful and transformational. So when you hit up against your blocks, your barriers, your fears, your emotions, it can really stop you dead in your tracks. It can be very paralyzing. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to help you with tools and techniques to keep releasing anywhere you're getting in your own way, or anywhere you might be stopping or blocking yourself from taking the next step forward on your soul's journey. And one of the things that can come up is something called the inner child. So the inner child is an aspect of you. And it can be an aspect of you that has wounding or pain from a particular time in your childhood. Now that can be a traumatic event, but it can also be emotions that you may not be able to logically explain through any kind of past event. But it might just be a feeling that you had at some point when you were a child that is unresolved. As a healer, I see this aspect of you. This inner child pops up and I see your inner child visually. And these inner children are all sorts of different ages depending on what was going on for you at those particular times in your life. And it's always fascinating what shows up. Now, I still think as adults, we have inner child needs. Even if you had the most perfect childhood ever, there's an aspect of you that is still in that innocence, that child innocence, that wants to play and be joyful and be free. And if that aspect of you gets triggered somehow, that little inner child can really cause a lot of problems. So, for example, if a part of you goes into fear, your inner child goes into fear, it can really stop you from moving forward and can really negatively impact your life, your relationships, your work, your business. So it's really worth taking a look at your inner child's needs. Now, I personally was a child that was very independent. I think from about the age of 1, my line was, I can do it by myself. And it took me a long time to realize that I have inner child needs and I have aspects of myself that really need support. I was so fiercely independent that I pushed any kind of support or help away. And this has been part of my life's journey, is about learning how to be supported, be vulnerable, and receive. So this is about acknowledging the part of you that needs to be supported, that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be held. We all have these needs within us. We all have these needs within us. And you may have created incredible protections and barriers and armor to avoid feeling these feelings, but they're still there, I promise you. So the thing is, no matter how amazing your parents were, humans are perfectly imperfect. No one can meet all of your needs. So a really powerful thing to do is learning how to give yourself everything that you crave, because there's no relationship that is going to meet all of your needs. So how can you take care of your own needs first? So this is a technique called reparenting yourself. So if you have an emotional trigger, this can be in a relationship, in your business, in your life, you want to take a look at what's going on for your inner child. This is an aspect of you that lives within us. It's the vulnerable part, the innocent part. And if you take a minute to sit with yourself and ask some questions, hey, what are you feeling here, little me? What's going on? You may be able to connect to what's happening for you. And often the inner child will feel afraid, unsettled, unsafe. So it's often a more vulnerable emotion. So let's say you have a trigger of anger. Often I'll find beneath anger, there's something more vulnerable going on, often a fear of some kind. So when you have an emotional trigger, ask yourself, hey, little me, what's going on? How are you feeling? What's going on in there? Like a loving parent would to a child who's upset. You can approach yourself with the same energy, the same care, and see what comes up. How does your inner child speak to you? So you may get visual images, you may hear words in your mind, you may get a feeling, or may just get an inner knowing. And what we want to do is then bring that child, inner you, little you, everything that you need to feel safe, to feel okay. So if a child was scared, what would you do? If you were with a child and trying to reassure them, how would you reassure that child? They might need a stroke in the back. They might need you just to sit there beside them. They might need a cuddle. You need to ask your inner child, what do you need? Because every person's different and everyone likes to receive support in different ways. But you need to ask yourself, hey, what do you need here? Sometimes my inner child, if it's really scared, just needs to be picked up, scooped up, and, cuddled. And then the little child wraps its arms and legs around me, and then I just hold that aspect of me, keeping her feeling really safe. So we want to help that child to feel safe, secure, and supported, and nurtured. So what you can do is you can go into meditation, you sit and close your eyes, and ask yourself some questions. Hey, what's going on here? What do you need? The first question, asking yourself, what do you need? Acknowledging the feelings. How are you feeling? What's going on? And then we can call on what I like to call the Divine Mother energy and the Divine Father energy. And you can use these energies in any way that feels comfortable for you. You can imagine an ideal father. You can imagine an ideal mother supporting you, coming to your little child, your inner child. You can do it as a visual, or you can call on these as energy. So I experience these, the Divine Mother energy and the Divine Father energy. It's a very specific energy, a very specific feeling. And it's very relaxing, very loving, very supportive. But there's a different quality to the Divine Mother energy than to the Divine Father energy. So you can call those energies into your body. You can do this in all sorts of ways, whether you're more feeling-based or more visual-based. You can journal it if that helps you as well. But basically, you want to give little you, your inner child, everything that you need from this loving, ideal parent. And ultimately, you're giving this to yourself, but it actually can feel like that little child is actually being loved by the perfect mother and perfect father. And not to say that, your parents weren't great, but no one can meet all of your needs. So this is an amazing tool and technique to help you meet your own needs. So I'll just recap that again. When you have an emotional trigger, or something comes up for you, take a moment to sit, close your eyes if that helps, and ask, hey, what's going on here, little me? What are you feeling? And see what comes up, see what you're aware of, and just be with that part of you, breathe into the feelings, acknowledge them. And then you can call on the Divine Mother energy and the Divine Father energy to come in and sit and be with this aspect of you. And just breathe. And you want to sit there until you feel your emotions calm down, and until that little part of you feels settled, feels reassured, feels safe, and feels secure. And then, as any child who feels safe and secure and settled, they'll kind of skip off and play. Now, your inner child may flare up on a regular basis, as would be natural for a child to do. Children aren't always happy and playful. They get sad, they get scared, they get angry, they get upset. And so do you, and that's absolutely okay. What we want to do is really acknowledge those parts of you, calm them down, balance them out so you can go off and play again happily. So it doesn't take you over for longer than it needs to. So just know that all of this is completely normal. Everyone has an inner child. I've not met one person that doesn't. This is your innocence, your playful, joyful, free self. And it's a really important part of you, and it's often a part that most adults cut off from or disconnect from. But what we can do is embrace the inner child, meet the needs of your inner child to actually bring more joy and play and lightness of being into your life as an adult. It's really awesome, and it's lots of fun. So take care of your inner child. Give yourself all the love and support and nurturing that you need, because it's essential. Sending you lots of love. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.